This video is brought to you in conjunction with Black Labrador Creations, but more from them later.
So our next stage, we're going to go with a little bit of grey cere. We're going to do the leatherwork and accoutrements. There's quite a lot of the whitened bits of leatherwork. So again, we're going to take the same amount. Let's put a little bit on the side there. That should do us. Maybe a little more. And pop this away. Just wipe it on the palette. And you notice I sort of twist the brush slightly as I do, just to keep the point as sharp as we can. Obviously, as I said, this is just the one brush to do the entire unit. You can, if you're feeling less confident, use smaller brushes. There are many different sizes of brush. But I've always found this one with a good point on it is more than enough for the job in question. So let's have a look at where we're going. So we're going to do, let's see, so the cross belts go, as we're looking at it, right to left. So you see the officer's got a tiny little cross belt on here. So I'm going to just do that, just brush that along there. That sergeant's is just in there. Again, we're going to get a bit on the hand there, but it doesn't really matter. We are going to clean that up and tidy it up later. Let's do the white strap on the drum. And we're just going to brush this lightly over the drum because there's little ropes, which any drummers out there will tell you is used to tighten the drum skin, give it a good sound. So I'm just going to just lightly brush over that. There we go. And that's going to turn it this way. And just sort of go in there, and we'll do this all the way along just to pick out the crossbelt. Now that's going to go on the hand and the cuff a little on each model, but that's fine because we're going to tidy that up later on. And then we're just going to go along and basically do a light dry brush on the leg areas as well, just to show their breeches and stockings. And this is not a stage I'm going to spend a great deal of time on, because I don't really need to. There's probably more detail on the back with the white stage, if we're quite honest. Again, if you're doing this, there are some units in the army that had white facings. So again, this would essentially be a good point to do all the white facings as well. So if anything, they're rather easier. So people like the 17th foot, 47th foot, they had white facings, so it'd be quite easy to do that. So straight away, looking a little bit more soldierly already, we'll carry on. We'll do straps on the back, and then we'll do the stockings and so on. Now look at the boots and the half gaiters or spatterdashes would be black, or they'd be blackened. So we don't need to worry about those. They're going to be still black from the undercoat. And another good reason to use it. But we might just do a tidying stage later on. So I'm just going to do a little line on each one, just to show where his crossbelt will go. And yes, we might just go and do a little blob of black on the blackened leather cartridge box at the end, just to keep things tidy. Again, that's only going to take maybe a minute of our time on models this small. Again, as we've got them on a strip, that means we're holding them once and just moving ourselves along, making it a very efficient way of getting all these models painted within an hour or so. What we're also going to do is we're just going to pick out the coat tails on these guys as well, which are these here. And we're literally going to do that with like a few small blobs of colour. So if you see, I'm just going to do like that, but possibly rather hard to see on the camera. So what I'll do is we'll get a good image of them when we're finished, and maybe our editing team can put a good picture in at this point and show you what they look like a bit further up close. We might do that at each stage. That's a bit messy, that one. So even I sometimes make a bit of a mess. So we're just going to do 1, 2, 3 little dots, and it looks like the back of their coats. So 1, 2, Right, they're like little triangles almost to fill in, but as long as we make a bit of an effort. Again, the beauty of this is that in these, when this unit's fully based up, some of these guys will be up close to their friends, and the back you'll hardly see, and likewise there's some of the others, their front you'll hardly see, so you're sort of painting details that you're not entirely certain won't get lost in the mix by the end. But if you've done them all, then you don't need to worry about that at the final basing stage. So pick those bits out there, those bits out here, those bits out here. Very nice. There we go. Now, we did say we do the stockings as well, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit more paint on and brush some of it off, just dry some of it a little on the palette, just so there's not quite as much, and we're just going to go along underneath and pick out the lower levels of them. So if you see, I'm just going to literally do a little level like that, and we're literally going from left to right, just flicking it across the model so it picks it up, and it just gives the impression that we've got those half gaiters and long breeches on. And straight away they're really starting to come to life now. Nice little sculpts in it. All my favourite Bacchus ones, plenty of character. And as always, heartily recommended by my own painting company and group of friends who game. I'm sorry for the detail that they put in, but the sheer scale of the different ranges that they do as well. So there's a particular wargaming period you like, from biblical through to World War II. They will pretty much have all the factions you need to match. Again, I've gone on over the edge of it here, down onto the base. I can always tidy that up with a bit of black in the last stages. If we don't want it it's white all the way down to the bottom, we just want it to look like they've got breeches and shoes on underneath. And there is a light push all the way along just to pick that out. And there we are, that's the next stage complete.
1775. The colonies are in turmoil. Will you swear loyalty to the crown or fight for liberty? The fate of a nation is in your hands. Loyalty or Liberty, the immersive new strategy game from Black Labrador Creations, brings the American Revolution to life through deep tactical card play. Command legendary leaders, outmaneuver your opponent, and shape history one decision at a time. Every card is a pivotal moment. Deploy forces, rally support, or sabotage your enemy's plans. Will you master the art of war, or be swept away by the tides of revolution? The battle lines are drawn. Choose your side and rewrite history. Get Loyalty or Liberty now at blacklabradorcreations.com.
And the next phase, let's do some facing colours. So as we agreed, these are probably going to be representative of one of the many units in the British Army at the time that had yellow facings. Good generic colour. Yellows, blues, greens, always good to go. You do get some slightly more esoteric ones. There was a purple, there's an orange, there's sort of a tawny yellow buff, there was red, and some lighter shades of blue and lighter shades of green as well. But a good basic yellow is always good for most. Right, so same again, we're going to just take a little bit of yellow and load some onto our wet palette. And keep it nice and pointy. And then we're literally going to find the areas that are going to have yellow on them. Now we're just going to start with the actual line infantry, the ordinary soldiers here. So if you see, we're going to put a little bit just here, and a little bit just here. And it again, a little bit just here, and here. Now they do have a little bit of a collar as well, so I'm going to do that on the collar. Try and keep it as small as possible, neat and tidy, and that's the kind of effect that we're going to be going for. So you should still see the yellow cuffs and the white leatherwork. I'm going to just go all the way along and do the same. So what we'll do is we'll come back to the command stand last, because that's where the facing colours get a little complicated. But the good news is there's no facing colours to do around the back of these men, because their hair comes down over their collar. And the facing colours generally aren't very visible on the models from the back. So we just need to do these along the front. And look at this, we will at the end just pick out the shoulder wings once we've completed the model. So that'll be one of the last stages that we do in the final tidying and detail stage. Let's just put a little bit on there. Try and make sure we don't miss any. It's quite annoying to have to go back and find there's one cuff missing. This lines us up quite nicely for the next stage, which will be the flesh and skin tones. So I'm trying to put it on quite thick, because the problem with yellow as a pigment tends to sometimes look a little bit green, certainly over black. But on the whole here, I think that's come out rather nicely. So you can see those at a distance have definitely got their yellow facings. Now, on the command stand here, we're just going to pick those bits out. So yet again, officers and sergeants, of course, would have the same facing colours. So we're going to do yellow there, yellow on the officer, and there. Pick out collars as well, and on this soldier who's with them in the line. Very good. Now, as we said, the drummer would have reversed colours, so he would be a yellow coat with red trim. So we're just going to pick out a few bits of yellow here, and on the arms, just to make it look like he does indeed have a yellow coat with red trim, and we're just going to do a little bit of yellow on the faces of the drum, just to bring it all together. I might gone over a little bit onto the white there, but that's not a big problem. So not on this scale. Right, now we're just going to go on the back, because obviously the drummer's got a fully yellow coat. And we're just going to pick out some more yellowy details there, just to give the impression that he does indeed have a nice, very Scottish, very fancy yellow coat. And that should do it for that stage.